Episode 27. On Fang's body running. Blood is dripping down. Blood spills on the ground. Puddles go through and reveal it's Mira's kind of daisy point of view. She's barely alive. They're gaining it from Spear. He can't keep up. She's bleeding out. He's concerned. Spear's gone way back into the forest still. The kids bellow, they're concerned. The blood continues on. You see the village. They arrive. Past all the people. We're still kind of in Mira's hazy point of view. Fang bellows. People come, they see. They grab Mira. They pull her off. They carefully place her down. This medicine woman comes in. They do magic's healing smoke. Jabu and Fang watch intently as they're trying to cure Mira. And she passes out as they're working on her. We come back on. She's still out. She listens for the heartbeat and for the heartbeat in the stomach. She turns to them, gives them a happy smile. She's okay. Jabu smiles. Kind of a happy groan from Fang. Ah! Somebody screams off screen. She looks. Everybody's kind of freaked out. People drop vegetables and fruit and fall over themselves. They're running out of the way. Zombie Spear's coming. They've never seen such abomination. They close the doors. He's just walking in to check on Mira. People are running away. He's like, he's not sure what's going on. Looking around, people are screaming. A woman comes up to him. Ah! She drops food, kind of hits him. People are running away. Warriors come out. He's turning the corner. It's super bright day, long, kind of spooky shadows. Everybody's freaked out. They're kind of poking at him. He turns, keeps walking. He's not sure what's going on. These are supposed to be people that he knew. And he's walking away, and we kind of push in on this one guy. He can't take it anymore. He runs in and skewers Spear. He's all sweaty. And then pulls it out. Spear growls at him. He falls back. Lands. Spear's like, he's kind of angry at this guy. And then he kind of looks. And he sees all the people, terrified faces, as we pan over. And he's like, what are they afraid of? And then there's a growl. And there's Fang. And she still does not like Spear. But the kids do. They're happy to see him. But Fang kind of pushes him away. And then Spear gets hit with a rock. Everybody's screaming, starts throwing stuff. Screaming at him, throwing rocks, throwing at him. He's roaring and swinging around, mad that everybody's freaking out at him. And Fang just watches. No movement. They're shooting arrows at him and now and everything. And Jabu's trying to stop him. La, 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 la. He's screaming still. A big mob is gathering. They're surrounding him. And then finally he's like, he's got to get out of here. He's turning away. They're running after him. He comes over, starts down. He's climbing down. The mob comes in. They still throws rocks and spears at him. He jumps down and runs into the forest and hides. The crowd disperses. He's not happy about this. Fade out. The day turns to clouds. And dark storm comes in. Rain falls. Brings people in. He's gonna see Mira if she's okay still. Fang comes out. It's the most intense it's ever been between the two of them. The rain stops finally. And then from all the roaring and screaming, we hear the crowd coming around the corner. They're back. And he can't hurt them. He has no choice. More people are coming. She just growls at him. He runs. Jumps over. Climbs down. People are still coming. Slides down. People are still, the big mob is coming. Chasing him. It's blown out, full bore Frankenstein movie. He leaves the forest into the wet marsh and then falls into the mud. People go through. They run past. We push in. Not sure what's happening. And then we dissolve to Mira. The sun starts to rise. The warmth kind of wakes her up. She gets up. Holds her stomach. It's like she can hear the heartbeat. Everything is okay. Then she's pained. She remembers. She's all bandaged up. Seems okay. But then she's concerned. What's happened? She goes outside. She walks out and then she sees guards everywhere. Something's not right. She walks and every part of the village is covered with guards, all protecting against zombie spear, obviously. We pan over. What's happened? Mira! Jabu runs in. They kind of hug. They look at each other smiling. And then Jabu's smile turns into a dreaded frown. She's unsure, and then he starts to act it out for her. pretending to be Spear coming into the village. Pretends to be Fang. Pretends to be Spear yelling, and Mir's really starting to understand this. And then he comes in and then he points. Like he went that way. She gets determined and pissed off. She walks into her hut. The dino and the kids come out. She starts gathering things, and they're watching her. She comes out, and she's pissed at Fang. And she walks away. Kids are concerned. Spear comes out of the mud, looks around. Trudges out. Big walking mud monster. Sun's baking him. He walks. Bloop, 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 bloop. The drops from the rain are collecting in a little stream, and the stream takes a little leaf, and we follow it down into small waterfalls, all cascading down from the rains, to bigger waterfalls, all coming down, and we see Spear enter, and he starts to come into this waterfall area, and he kind of starts taking a shower, washing off all the mud, and the water's coming down, and it's kind of serene. When he sees his reflection, and his first time kind of staring into the mirror with his new, more found self. And then he sees himself, and the memories that he's had throughout now is the memory of himself. And then he sees himself as he's supposed to be, and then how he really is. The music swells, and he realizes for the first time that he's a walking zombie, this horrid thing. And he runs in and sees his skeletal arm. And he's freaking out. And he swipes at himself. And he sees this whole horrible disfigured body, and then he touches his own brain, and he sees the people yelling at him, and it's all becoming this manifestation of everything that's happened, and he looks back, and the people are screaming and scared of him, and he turns around, and people are angry at him, and he remembers the mob coming after him, everybody hates him, everybody's yelling, it's driving him mad, throwing, roaring. The water's getting more intense. The music rises. And then he sees Fang roar at him. Roar at him again. It's driving him mad. She comes in. He yells at her. And then the vision dissolves into the way they were. He remembers the friendship and the bond that they had. And he's saddened by it, and he's realizing, what is this all about? How can this be? And it turns into the reality of that she hates him. He's not who he is. And he finds himself on top of this huge, massive waterfall. Mira comes in. She's looking for him. She sees some mud. She smells it. It's his wretched death scent on the mud. She knows it's him. She looks around. And then she sees his footsteps. She continues on. A little bit of pain. She comes over, sits down. Her wound isn't healed fully. It's still bleeding. She tries to comfort herself a little bit. Blood on her hand. We hear some footsteps in the forest. It's the kids. They followed her. They all love her. It's kind of warm. They're happy to see her. And Fang's followed too. She is not happy with her. She's not having it. She hates that Fang's abandoned Spear like this. She continues on. Fang chases past her. She won't have it. No, she doesn't care. She continues on. She has to find Spear. The kids side with Mira. Fang follows. This music comes in. He has no choice, nothing left to do. And he jumps. Almost in this stylized, echoey, watery sound effects, sound sculpture way, he's working his way through underwater, above water, and the raging rivers tossing him and carrying him somewhere. Goes through, we see this complicated forest in the water, but it's a reflection, and he just goes through. The sun is beating down hard, and he continues on. The water wipes. We're lost in all the water abstraction. Starts to swirl. Finally, we see him again. Taken through this place. And he's gone. Fang walks in, watching Mira. She's limping, falling down. It's really wearing on her. But she has to continue on. Fang's watching. She can't help it. She follows her. We see more of her blood. They're so concerned for her. She continues on. She sees more footprints. Fang comes in. Like, I'm going to do it now. She comes in. The kids are happy that mom's helping. She's following. Now the hunt becomes more intensified because Fang knows exactly. She finds the footsteps. And now we see that way. It continues on, following the footsteps. She comes down. We see the rocks. Where do you go? And now we see that they end up on the same roaring waterfall. She looks down. Could he have jumped? There's no more tracks leading past. They're looking around. And then Mira's trying to have her, she's realizing maybe he jumped, but she can't believe it. She looks, and there she sees it. A piece of his cloth left on the branches. She takes it, and she fears the worst has happened. Oh, she can't believe it. Fang's concerned, and the music takes us out, sadly, that it was Spear's death. Bubbling ooze as Spear floats in. He's washed up. The little splurt of bubbles wakes him up. He looks around. All the water comes out. There's hot steam. Low rumbling. He's looking around. What is this? Everything's hot and steaming. Strange rumbling and bubbling everywhere. We pan up, and in the distance, a red glowing flickering light of a volcano. He starts to walk. Hot steam bubbling. The earth shakes. He falls down. The earth opens. Hot lava. The glow of the red comes over. For a moment, he has the flashback of the Plague of Madness dinosaur on fire. But that's all it was, just a flash memory. She gets up. The earth opens up more, and it's sizzling. Red lava. Distant eruptions more. He continues on. Crosses over. Startled by what he sees, kind of looks. From another earth shake, one of the skulls falls off the pike, hits the ground, rolls, bounces, and into, as we pull out, a pit. And at the end of the pit, on the opposite side, is a warrior. 28, if we remember, Spear was washed up on this primordial volcano land, and the dude is waiting. Spear's unsure what's happening. We have the pit. Creatures start coming over. White hair, blue skin type weird creatures. They arrive. Oh, here's a reaction. Looks more. This other silhouette is coming out from in the pit, and he's carrying this primordial type crown made out of metal, and he lifts it up. Everybody starts cheering. Pan over to Spear. He's trying to figure all this out, what's happening. The guy brings the crown down, and he offers it, to this guy, which is obviously their champion. He does a signal honoring the crown. Then he brings it over to Spear, who seemingly is the challenger. He's like, doesn't know what's happening. Comes over. They honor the crown by lifting up their hands. These guys lift it up, and he carefully places it on this stone altar. Turns and walks away back into his little cave where he came from. And then this guy is ready to fight. Battle cry. Antics down. Jumps up in the air. Lands inside the pit. We pan up. Everybody's cheering. Spear's like, what the hell? And then he's like, yelling and swinging his blade. And these guys come up behind Spear. And then they kind of push him in. He falls down. Smashes into the ground. Attack. Spear just dodges out of the way. Cling! He comes up. The guys run on top of him. Swings. He just barely ducks out of the way. He comes up. Comes in to smash him. But then the guy hits him with the butt of his blade. Sends him up in the air. And then sticks his staff down. And we pan up. And the blade is up. As we pan up, and guess who's falling right at it? Spear. Impaled. And he's skewered on the spear. Yeah! The guys cheer. He lets go. Yeah! And Spear slides down the spear. And then he's like, he's all pissed off, and he grabs his leg. The guy's like, he's not dead? And he throws him. Everybody's in shock. Hits the wall. He lands and stands up. And then Spear stands up, and he's got the spear still in him, or the lance still in him, and he and takes it out. He runs at him. He misses it, and then he kicks him in the face. Punches him. Uppercut. Punch. Spear's like, swings. Nail in the head. And then next one comes in, and he grabs him. And then he bites his hand clear off. Blood comes spewing. The guy screams like crazy, blood squirting out. And then Spear comes in and just cuts his head clean off. Glug, 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 glug. The blood comes out. Everybody's shocked. Their champion destroyed. The head of the chieftain or the shaman or whoever looks. He starts to walk out. Spear sees him. Turns around. Yells at him. Is all freaked out from everything that's happened. He ignores him and he walks towards the crown. And all the guys start, lift the crown, there's a chant, He grabs the crown, chanting the supporting for the new champion. Spear's trying to understand. He walks up to him, still on the defense. He offers him the crown. Offers it to him again, making sure he understands. Spear kind of eases. He senses this is okay. And he moves in closer. Comes in. And slowly starts to place the crown on his head. Everybody cheers in support of Spear. Everybody's cheering. And for the first time, it feels like people like Spear. As we know in the last episode, he was like Frankenstein. Everybody hated him, chased him away. And so this is the first adoration that he's gotten. And then he shows him this way. There's more. And then Spear thinks about it, and he's like, okay, he's going to follow. So now we have the floor of this volcanic land, and it's like dried up lava, and we see them come over the horizon. These are hot volcano lands, so there's steam everywhere, and they're walking in, and there's people following him, and this other guy comes in. He does a signal, and then Spear looks, and he sees this is a whole civilization of these creatures that live in the lava rocks amongst the volcano. And he's walking, and we see children and women and other warriors. And he's trying to understand everything, and then he sees these ruin-type rocks all leading to... And he sees these guys stop. These are sacred lands. They're not allowed. As they all stop, and then Spear continues in, and he kind of catches up, and then he sees it. Flows of lava rivers coming down from the volcano. And then we pan out, and we continue out, and we see this black river that's not affected by the lava. But we ignore it for now, and we come in, and there's this hideous ash-ridden part of the creature who once was like them, but his hair has all been burned off, and he's got spots on him, and he sees them up there, and he's got a spoon around his, like a spoon necklace, and then he jumps and jumps and jumps towards them, and then on top of the mountain climbs up. Spear's like, whoa, and he's kind of this hideous beast, and he comes in, and then he stops, and then the chieftain points to the crown. He's like, bows down, like his vocal cords have been burned out from working in the lava, and he climbs back down, and Spear's like, oh. It's all very mysterious to him, and this guy climbs back down, back to the rocks, and he hops over the rocks, and he stops, and now we see he stopped right in front of the black river, and he takes off the spoon, and we pan over to him, and he takes out a little bit of the black liquid. And then we cut to Spear, and he's like, black liquid. And we start to have images of flashes of memories from Rage of the Ape Men, the black elixir that empowered the gorillas and Spear. And he's starting to remember a little bit, but we know, of course, right away. So the guy's coming back, and he's hopping very carefully, and he's climbing with one hand very gently, not to spill any of the precious liquid. And Spear's looking at him, and he's getting closer, and he's remembering more. He remembers himself drinking the liquid. He's like, oh, it's all coming to him. And the guy approaches, and then the chieftain takes it, and then he offers it to the victor. And we see the black goo inside. And now we see him remember what powers it gave him. So it's kind of a positive memory. And then Spear takes it, and then drinks it. Instantly it affects him. He drops the spoon. And he starts to transform. He yells. His arm starts to bubble with the power and energy. He feels the surge, and he switches around. Back in the forest, and we see Mira on top of Fang and the kids, and they're returning, and if we remember from the last episode, they went to try to search for Spear, but they realized he fell off the waterfall to his death. And they're approaching the village, and now they're coming into the village, and she's super sad, and everybody sees Mira's all sad, and they're not sure what's happening. The Dino kids are sad. And then Jabu runs in, and he sees Mira not come back with Spear. He realizes something's horrible's happened. And she's coming up their cemetery. And she's coming towards, of course, where Spear is buried. She gets off Fang, and she comes in, and Fang looks, and he's watching her, and she sits down, and then gently places the last bit of spear, his little torn piece of cloth from his clothes. She places it where his body should have been, and she's all sad, and Jabu comes in, and he also comes in, and he places his spear, also the sign of spirit, and he places it down, and then they hug, and it's a tender moment that's sad. Then we see this type of grayish rock type beast roar. We see the same imagery of the chieftain coming out with a crown, and he places it up. Everybody's cheering for the crown. Spear is looking, it's happening again, but now he's on the other side. He's the champion. And there's the challengers, this type of rock primordial beasts. And the chieftain offers it to Spear, and then offers it to the rock beast, who raises his arm, and then he places it. Everybody's like, the crown. He roars. He's not going to wait. He jumps right in. The chieftain runs away. He lands. It's his crown now. They yell at him to get going. Spear looks and antics, and he jumps. And then the guy sees it, and he swings around with his giant club. Hits Spear in midair. Slams him to the ground. Raises the club up, and then Spear just sees it in time and rolls out of the way. It slams the ground. He runs. But then, before he can get away, he's hit again. Flies. Hits the wall. Comes down. Gets up pissed off. This guy's yelling in triumph. They're supporting him. Spear comes after him. He looks, and he just gets out of the way as the guy tries to smash him again. Then he ducks him in the face. He barely feels it. But while he's doing that, Spear grabs his foot and then tosses him up. He lands. Lets go of the club. The club lands. He grabs it. Now with a giant club, the guys are like, cheering him on. Breaks his hand. Breaks his leg. The guy comes up, misses. Spear hits the shit out of him. He falls back. The guys are shocked. Spear comes in, breaks his brain. He lands. Glub, 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 glub. Blood dripples down his legs out of his exposed head. And then he drops to his knees and drops forward. Yeah! Triumphant yell from Spear. And we kind of become a little bit more montagey as now he grabs the elixir and he drinks it. More effects from the elixir. The lava explodes behind him as he's empowering and winning. That scream goes to the scream of Mira. Uh-oh, it's time. She's about to give birth. Fang is nervously pacing in front. We hear the screaming, and then all of a sudden, we hear screaming baby. Fang looks, sniffing. So does her kids, all curious to see what the baby cry is. And the two nurses see that, and they reveal the baby's born. And Mira looks, and then she smiles, and she presents the baby to Fang. Fang and the kids are all smelling. And then we push in as Fang gently comes in. She's so happy. We push in and we push in on the little baby. And it's a super tender. She does a quiet little purr, and Mira puts her hand on her just like Spirit does. Well, that moment is broken by a crazy guy in a bear suit. It's a polar bear suit, and he's got claws, and the whole thing is on. And then Spears is ready to fight. He attacks, misses. He attacks, and he slashes down and cuts Spear, and he comes in and breaks the lance in half. He's got two parts, and he attacks again, and then Spear gets out of the way, but now he's got two weapons and just sticks the arm. The guy screams inside, then he sticks the other thing inside the helmet, and we see the blood come out and reveal that guy inside the suit. And then he just falls. Boom, 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 boom. Drinking more elixir. Wobbling. This becomes kind of more montagey as the music is driving the action, as we see this dude coming in on a pterodactyl. He comes around and lands. And we see this dude get up, come on, some kind of primordial Celtic warrior with the tattoos and everything, and he takes out the sword and he jumps down right at Spear. Spear misses. Spear gets out of the way. Clang! He goes to fight, and he sticks Spear, guts him, of course, with the sword. That wakes Mira up as the music transitions a little softer. She's having some kind of a dream, she thinks, and she looks at the baby, and the baby's quietly sleeping. She's happy, of course, and she grabs the baby and holds her and goes to the window and looks out, and this is all kind of melancholy and bittersweet because she thinks Spear is dead, and she's looking out into the distance and just thinking about him, the reflective moment as we push in further, and something's not right. Something's bothering her. And then, we cut back to the action as the guy takes out the blade and then comes in to cut him. But then Spear just is still alive, which the guy doesn't know. And Spear grabs his head and then starts to squeeze it. And like a watermelon, it squirts all over him. The volcano erupts. Mira's having more nightmares. It's all kind of dissolvey, Apocalypse Now type feeling shit as the Spear is yelling. A pterodactyl is in a dream for some reason. And then we cut back to normal as Spear is drinking more of the black elixir and drinking it and getting empowered by it. And all of a sudden, the color of his eyes start coming back. It's used to be gray, but now it's becoming black again. It's like the elixir is healing the zombiness. And we cut to the giant monkey with a giant mallet. Hits down. All this dust goes past Spear. He roars. Yeah! The cheer of the people. The monkey jumps out of the air, spins around with his giant mallet. Spear jumps. He misses it. And in midair, they cross. He lands and then cuts the back. Spear's gotten really good now. And he antics back to Spear and then skewer. Behead. Down. Everybody goes crazy. We dissolve to an offering made to their warrior champion Spear as he sits on top, reflecting everything. But he's obviously not thinking about his victories. He's thinking about Mira. And she kind of dissolves in, and he's pained by his memory and the moment where she swats the flies out of his face when they met in episode 4. Then the drawing of the belly and her drawing, trying to tell him that she's pregnant and putting his hand on her belly. And he's starting to realize, what of Mira? What of Mira? And we pull in and he hears us, the chained up leftover remains of the pterodactyl chained up. and he gets an idea. And he like holds up his hand like he would to Fang. You know, Spear is a master of beasts. And the thing's kind of like, he yells at him, but he doesn't move. He's still frozen, almost hypnotizing the beast, like a horse whisperer type of idea. And then they kind of lock eyes, and she understands. And then Spear comes up, and it's trying to break free. He kind of yells at it to stop. It listens, and then let's go. It's free. And it starts to fly away, and Spear runs, and he jumps. And it takes off. And now he climbs up the chain and mounts the pterodactyl, and then grabs it, and then pulls it in the other direction. And now he steers it as it flies away. Flying in the air, pretty badass. And guess where they're going? And he sees it. The village, Mira's village. It's nighttime. They fly in. Kind of circles around, sees everybody's asleep, nobody's around. It's safe. He sees a place to land. Gets off. Sneaks in quietly. Doesn't want to disturb everybody. Comes in. Peeks. Pretty safe. Comes out. Goes to Mira's hut. Looks. And there she is, sleeping. And then he first time smiles. And then he notices something. As we pan over, there's the baby. And he realizes it's Mira's baby. He knows. He starts to understand. It's his baby. And then he looks and hears some people coming. And Mira awakens by the sound. And then he just gets away. What? Did I just see something? She runs. She runs out. Spear disappears in the back. She looks around. Could it be? Could it be? No. She goes back inside as he takes off. And then she looks and she just sees the silhouette of the pterodactyl going away. Like her dream. It's all connected. Spear must be alive. And then Fang senses something. He runs out. She runs out. Sniffing the air. Something's wrong. She senses it too. And meanwhile, the music is uplifting and cheery as Spear realizes he's a dad. And he's so happy. And we come in, and Mira's now at this hut. This low, like, archival type place. And she's looking at all these maps, pulling the maps, searching, coming in. More parchment paper maps, old stuff. She looks around. She's looking for something. And then she sees it. This old map, the oldest map they have. And then she takes it. And then we see it. She sees a volcano with pterodactyls flying around. Some kind of forbidden land that they've stumbled upon before. And we push in on it. That's where she has to go. The flap of the entryway to the door, the curtain flaps in the air. And it comes back as Mira's walking out with a map. And then transitions to the flap of Spear. And he's so happy now. But he's in the middle of battle with this dude. To be continued.